So this is a really interesting deck that's going to be coming out in Lightning Overdrive. I'm actually quite excited for it. So it's a trap face focus deck. They've only got a few monsters, but it's called Amazement and Attractions at Precious Park. And you see the attractions is weirdly spelled. So let's go into the monsters. We've got Amazement Administrator, level 7 dark psychic effect monster, and it has these effects. If a trap card's activated, you can special summon it. If your opponent normal special summons the monsters, you can target one of them, equip it with an attraction trap from your deck, and once per turn, banish any number of attraction traps from your graveyard, target that many cards your opponent controls, and destroy them. So, pretty good card to be honest. Summons itself, pops stuff if you need it to be popped, basically searches an attraction trap, which is nice. So yeah, all in all, that's a good card. We've got Amazement Ambassador, a level 3 beast effects monster. When it's normal summoned, you target an attraction trap in your graveyard and face up monster your opponent controls, equip the target on the field with the target in the graveyard, and then you can target one of your attraction traps equipped to a monster, equip it to an Amazement monster you control, or face up monster your opponent controls. So again, funnily enough, I mean, this sounds like a weird effect, but it's actually really good for the archetype. Again, allows you to shuffle your traps. This deck is really heavily focused around them, which is quite cool. Then we have Amazement Attendant. When it's normal summoned, you can set an attraction trap directly from your deck to your spell and trap zone. You can target one of your attraction traps equipped to a monster, equip it to an Amazement monster you control, or face up monster your opponent controls. So Attendant is also quite good. It's basically, I think Marionette from Mortal Guys does the same thing, which is nice. Will dodge stuff like Ash Blossom, which is quite cool. And then second effect, again, it's not a bad effect at all. All these monsters are probably going to run at free in the build. Then we've got their spells. So Amazing Time to Get. This is probably one of the best search spells I've seen in my life. So firstly, it's a quick play spell card, which is amazing. Then if it's on your turn, you can add an Amazement card from your deck to your hand. If your opponents, you can set an attraction trap directly from your deck and then activate it that turn. So that's what makes it so good, because it's got an effect in both turns, which means even if you draw 2, you're still going to plus so heavily off it. And the effect in your opponent's turn is awesome, because as I said, they've got a lot of traps and their traps are sick, and the effects in your turn is just basically generic search, which is always going to be good. So really good search spell, one of the best I've seen in a while. Amazing Special Show. When your opponent activates a card effect, targets Amazing monster you control, target one of those Amazement monsters, return it to the hand, then special summon another one. This card's weird. You're not going to be able to get it off often just because it's kind of awkward to activate. They have to target it first. Yeah, but whatever. I don't think I'd run it, but I don't know, maybe if I really need to, if targeted removal becomes popular again, but right now targeted removal is not popular. And then we've got Precious Park, their field spell, so you can only activate one, activate an attraction trap card during your main phase, and during the end phase you can set one of your attraction traps. You can send one to the graveyard and then set one from your banished or graveyard. So this card is okay. Problem with it is two things. Firstly, you need to send one of yours first. The problem with that is that you need to already have the advantage, basically, and it needs to be equipped already. So I mean, on the first turn it's really not going to do anything. Then the second problem is that you need to do it in the end phase, and whenever an effect is in the end phase, it needs to be pretty insane, otherwise it just ends up being like just not used. If I have to wait to the end phase to recycle a card, and then I also have to pay a cost for it, basically, that's not ideal. So yeah, this spell is amazing. But let's get onto their traps. So they started with 6 traps already, which is quite insane. So, and all their traps have a similar clause, a similar kind of thing where when they're equipped to your opponent, they have one effect. When they're equipped to your monster, they have a different one. So they all have that kind of nonsense going on. So, Amazement Family Face. Target a monster your opponent controls, equip this to it, then you can take control of it. While you control the equipped monster, it gains 500 attack, can't activate its effects, also is treated like an Amazement monster. So it's a pretty good card. This is probably one of the best traps they have. Then they have Cyclone CoStar. So you can equip this to your monster or their monster. When it's equipped to your monster, you can destroy a spell or trap card your opponent controls, and you have to send this to the graveyard to do that. When it's equipped to your opponent's monster, you can add an Amazement monster from your deck to your hand. So this is another one that I'd say is definitely quite a good card. At worst, it's going to be a search most of the time, so yeah, definitely useful. Wonder Wheel, so you can target an Amazement monster you control or face a monster your opponent controls, blah blah blah. Then if it's equipped to your monster, you can return a card from your hand to the bottom of the deck and draw one. Your opponent's monster, swap their monster's attack and defense to the end of this turn. So this card is weird. It's not amazing. It's not as good as the top two. The shuffle effect is kind of okay, but it's just a bit slow. But yeah, I guess sometimes it'll come up. The second effect is interesting. What I wonder is, I'm pretty sure Link Monsters defense counts as 0, so if you can use this on Link Monsters, this would be an interesting kind of out to Appaloosa, for example, but beyond that, it's not an amazing card. Then we've got Amaze Attraction Majestic. When it's equipped to your monster, it gains 500 attack, and If it would be destroyed, you can send this to the graveyard instead. Your opponent's monster, the equipped monster loses 500 attack for each of your attraction traps equipped to a monster. Yeah, this one isn't that good. It's going to be hard to consistently have a lot of traps equipped, and you're only losing 500 for each. So I mean, it's not amazing. And the protection, again, the problem is modern day Yu-Gi-Oh! There's so much non-destructive removal that a lot of the times it won't be relevant. But whatever, yeah, we move on. You don't have to play it. So then we have attraction rapid racing. So when it's equipped to your monster, you can target a card in the graveyard, change battle position, then shuffle that into the deck. Your opponent's increased equipped monsters level by 1 if you do change battle position. So the first effect is kind of good. Putting a card back in the deck, it can be good against some strategies, but it's just a bit unimpactful. For a trap to have this effect, it's like the second effect's practically irrelevant. It's not going to come up most of the time. I mean, yeah, you can annoy a virtual world player if you really want to, but beyond that, you're not doing much. But yeah, so I don't even think that's going to get played much. Then we've got Horror House. So target an amazing monster you control, blah blah blah. If it's equipped to your monster, you can negate an effect monster your opponent controls to the end of the turn. If it's equipped to your opponent's monster, you can change that equipped monster to face down and have feeling obviously that this will unequip and then go to the graveyard, because that's how it usually works with face down monsters. So yeah, that is the Amazement archetype. They look really good. They do look, in my opinion, not really good, but they do look good. They do look playable for a trap archetype, because they have got quite a lot of in-archetype disruption, and that's always a nice thing when you don't have to go out of your archetype to get your disruption. But we really got to see if they get more cards, because I think one of the problems they're going to have obviously is they haven't got a lot of monsters at the moment, and the monsters they do have, only one of them is kind of a starter in terms of attendant. The other two, I wouldn't really consider them true starters. They rely on the opponent a bit too much. So and it's a machine, unfortunately, as well. So it's a light machine. It's not going to be easy to search. But beyond that, definitely, it's an interesting archetype. Definitely want to see what's going to happen. I'm going to have some builds coming out of it. So guys, that is the Amazement archetype. Let me know what you think down in the comments, and I will talk to you all later. Peace.